Hi guys, welcome to Annie's Math and Science. This is part 3 matrix, which is a continuation of part 2 matrix. In this matrix, we are going to see how to solve matrix equation and also normal system of equations to find x, y and z. Okay, so for solving matrix equation, this is actually in the form ax equals b, right? So this is A matrix and this is matrix B. Okay, now you have to find the value of x. So you have to find the value of x means x is equal to A inverse of B. A inverse of B you have to find. Okay, so to find the value of x you have to multiply A inverse by B. So you must find the A inverse first. Okay, so A inverse means you have to find the determinant first. Okay, because you have to find the new matrix and you have to divide all the elements by the determination of A. So for that you have to find the determinant first. Okay, so determinant of A equals, so for finding determinant of 3 by 3 matrix you have to take the first row. Okay, so you have to take the first row and then you have to find the determinant of A. So I'll show you how to do it. So that this 0 is the first element. So this is the first element in the first row. Okay, so you have to take 0 times. When you are taking the first row, first element, then you have to ignore the first column. Okay, so you have to take only these 4 elements, which is 3 minus 2 minus 2 1. Okay, and then for the second element you have to put a minus. Okay, and then this is 0 times what are the elements in here? So if you are taking the second element, then you have to ignore the middle column. Second column you have to ignore. So you have to take these 4 elements, 1 minus 2 1 and 1. So 1 minus 2 1 1. Okay, and then for the next element you can put plus only. So only for second element you have to put minus. For the third element you can put plus only. So this is third element is actually 2, and so third element is actually in the third column. So you have to ignore the third column and you have to take these 4 elements, 1 3 1 minus 2. So 1 3 1 minus 2. Okay, so you have to find the determinant of these values, and here also you have to find the determinant, here also you have to find the determinant. So for finding determinant of A, 0 times 3 times 1, because determinant of these 4 numbers is actually you have to multiply these two minus these two, this diagonal. Okay, so 1 times 3 is 3. So 0 times 1 times 3 is 3 minus, and then you have to multiply these two. 2 times 2 is 4 and both of them are negative, so it is plus 4, and so you have to write 4 in here. Okay, then next one is minus, and again 0, open bracket, 1 times 1 is 1 minus 1 times minus 2 is minus 2, so this will become plus 2. Okay, and then plus what is the next one? So 2 times 1 times minus 2 is minus 2 minus 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, so now 0 times anything is 0, so you can write the 0 minus 0, yeah, because this is also will become 0 because 0 times anything is 0, plus this is minus 2 minus 3 will be negative 5, and when you multiply negative 5 by 2 you will get negative 10. Okay, so you can write when there is plus and minus you have to take it as minus. So the final answer for determinant of A is negative 10. So now you have found the determinant of A. Okay, so you already found the determinant of A, which is equal to minus 10. Now you have to find the transpose of matrix A. Okay, transpose means you have to write all the rows as columns. Okay, you just have to switch all the rows into columns. So you can write it as AT. Transpose matrix means you have to write in this notation. So that is equal to 0 0, 2, 1, 3, minus 2. So this is actually first row and I am writing it as first column. And this is second row, so it is actually second column. And the third row will become third column, which is 1, minus 2, 1. Okay. Now you have to rearrange the elements. So for that, what you have to do is, first of all, so you have to write a new matrix. Okay. So first of all, what you have to do is, for the first element, you have to ignore the first row. Okay. And also first column. Okay. So when you are writing the first element, you have to ignore the first row and first column. Okay. So you can write, you have only these four elements now. 3, minus 2, and minus 2, 1. Okay. So this is for first element of the matrix. Okay. For the second element, you have to ignore the middle column, because already you have ignored the first row. So for writing the first row, you don't have to worry about the first one. You have to think about only the bottom two rows. And in here, when you are writing the second element, you have to ignore the middle column. So which means you have to take 0, 2, minus 2 and 1. So 0, minus 2 and 2 and 1. Okay, so this is the second element. And for the third element, you have to, so your third element means third column, right? So you have to ignore the third column and you have to take these four elements. So 0, 3 and 2, minus 2. Okay. For the second row, first element, you have to ignore the second row now. So you have to consider only first row and third rows. Okay. So for the second row, you are ignoring the second row in here. And so again, for first element, you have to ignore the first column. So you have to take 1, 1, minus 2, 1. So 1, 1, minus 2, 1. Okay. And for the second element, second row, you have to ignore the middle column. So you have to take 0, 1, 2, 1. 0. This is actually determinant. So you cannot put brackets. So in here, you have to take 0, 1, 2, 1. Okay. And the next one is you have to ignore the third column. So you have to take 0, 1, 2, minus 2. Okay. And for the third row, you have to ignore the third row and you have to take consider only the first row, two rows. And so for the first element, you have to ignore the first column. So you have to take only these four elements. So which is 1, 1, 3, minus 2. And for the second element, you have to ignore the middle column. So which means you have to take 0, 1, 0, minus 2. And then for the third element, you have to ignore the third column. So you have to take 0, 1, 0, 3. Okay. Now you have to take the determinant for each and every, like you have to find the value of these determinants. Okay. So we can write this up here. So 3 times 3 times 1 is 3. 3 minus 2 times 2 is 4 plus 4. So you can put just 4 here. And the second one is 0 times 1 is 0. Minus 2 times 2 is negative 4. So this will become plus 4. The next one is 0 times minus 2 is 0. And then 2 times 3 is 6. So minus 6. Okay. And next you have to find for this one. So 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 2 times 1. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. So plus 2. It will become plus 2. And the next one is 0 times 1 is 0. minus 2, and then 0 times minus 2 is 0, and again 2 times 1 is minus 2. And for this one, you have 1 times minus 2 is minus 2, minus 3 times 1 is 3. And the next one is 0, minus 0, and here also you have 0 minus 0. Okay, so this is the one, and then now you can simplify it. This is the rearranged matrix from the transpose matrix. Okay, so now we can simplify this matrix. 3 minus 4 is negative 1, and then 0 plus 4 is 4, 0 minus 6 is minus 6, and then 3, 0 minus 2 is minus 2, and this is also minus 2, and minus 2 minus 3 is minus 5, and then 0 minus 0 is 0, here also 0. So this is the matrix, and now we have to multiply with some signs. Okay, so you have to multiply with some signs, which is this term must be multiplied by plus, and this term must be multiplied by minus, and this term will be multiplied by plus. Again, this is minus, and this is plus, and this is minus, and this is plus, and this is minus, and this is plus. Okay, so the new matrix will be minus 1. Minus 1 times plus is minus 1 only, and then 4 minus times minus will become minus 4, and then minus 6 times plus will be minus 6 only, and minus 6 only, and then 3 times minus will be minus 3, minus 2 times plus will be minus 2, minus 2 times minus will be plus 2, and then minus 5 times plus will be minus 5, and then the rest are zeros. Okay, so this is the matrix you found from transpose of matrix. So you have to write the transpose matrix, and then you have to rearrange everything, and you are getting this one. Okay, by rearranging the numbers and finding the determinants, you are actually getting this matrix, right? This is the new matrix, and now you have to find the A inverse. So A inverse means you have to times this by the determinant of A, 1 over determinant A. Okay, so 1 over determinant A is negative 10. So you have to write it in here. So which means you have to divide each an element inside this matrix by negative 10. So the answer will become minus 1 over 10 will be 0.1, right? So minus and minus will get cancelled. So this will become 0.1, and this is minus 4 divided by negative 10 will be 0.4, and then minus 6 divided by 10 will be 0.6. Yeah, because all these things are divided by like minus divided by minus, so the minus will get cancelled. Okay, and then minus 3 divided by negative 10, which is equal to 0.3, and minus 2 divided by minus 10 is actually minus 0.2, and 2 divided by minus 10 will be negative 0.2, and then minus 5 divided by 10 will be like 0.5. Okay, 0.5, and minus get cancelled, and this is actually 0. 0 divided by anything is actually 0. So now you found A inverse. A inverse you found already. Okay, to find the value of x, you have to multiply A inverse by B. Okay, so now you have to multiply this matrix by B. B matrix is 6 minus 1, 8. Okay, so like x is equal to A inverse of B. So now you have to multiply this matrix 0.1, 0.4, 0.6, 0.3, 0.2, minus 0.2, and 0.5, and 0, 0. Okay, so this one multiply by minus 6, minus 11, 8. Okay, so now you are multiplying A inverse by B. Okay, that is equal to 0.1 times 6, 0.1 times 6 plus because you have to multiply the first row with, there is only one column in the second matrix, so you have to multiply each row with the column. Okay, 0 point, and you have to add them together. 0.1 times 6 plus 0.4 times negative 11, and then plus 0.6 times 8. Okay, 0.1 times 6 plus 0.4 times minus 11 plus 0.6 times 8. And then 0.3, next row, 0.3 times, again you have to multiply by 6 plus 0.2 times minus 11 plus negative 0.2 times 8. Okay, and the next row is 0.5. 0.5 times 6 plus, this is 0, 0 times minus 11 plus 0 times 8. Okay, now we can simplify this matrix. Okay, so when you simplify this matrix, 0.1 times 6 is 0.6, and then when you multiply these two, you will get 4.4. Okay, 0.4, and 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 1 is 4, so you will get 4.4, and this is actually 4.8 plus 4.8. Okay, and the next one is 6 times 3 is 18, so 1.8, and again this is minus, so minus 2.2, and this is again minus, so minus 1.6. The next one is 3.0, and then plus 0 plus 0. Okay, so when you simplify, the value of x will be equal to, when you simplify, 0.6 minus 4.4 plus 4.8, yeah, so you will get 1. So when you add these two and minus this one, minus 4.4, you will get 1. And when you add these two, you will get 3.8, negative 3.8, and this is 1.8, so the answer will be negative 2. And here only 3 is there, so yeah, so the x matrix will be, that is equal to x. So the x matrix will be 1, minus 2, 3. So first of all, for finding the value of x, you are finding the determinant, and then you have to write the transpose matrix, and then from the transpose matrix you are using some determinants, and you are writing the new matrix in this way. Okay, and then you have to divide it by the determinant, all the elements by the determinant, and you are getting this matrix. And then you have to, this is A inverse, and A inverse times B will be the value of x, so you have to multiply these two. When you are multiplying, you will get the answer as 1, minus 2, 3. That is the value of x. Now we can see what is coefficient matrix, variable matrix, and constant matrix. Okay, so this is a system of equations, and you can write the coefficients of each term. Okay, so the variables given in here is a, b, and c. The coefficient of a in the first equation is 0. Okay, so 0, and then b is minus 1, and c is 2, and here for the second equation 1, and for b also 1, and for c is minus 1, and for 2 it's for a third equation for a it is 2, b there is no b term, so we can write it as 0, and 3 is c. Okay, and now this is multiplied by the variables, which is a, b, c. So you have to write the variables as one matrix. Okay, that is equal to, what is the constant here? So constant term is 4, 0, and 11. Okay, so this one also must be written as a matrix. Okay, so these are matrix. Okay, so this is actually like coefficient. So you are writing the coefficient in a matrix, so it is called coefficient matrix. And this is actually variable, so all the letters are here, so this is variable matrix. And the next one is only with constant number, so we can call it as constant matrix. Now we can see how to solve a system of equation using matrix equation. Okay, so first of all you have to write the coefficients. So this is 1, 1, 1, and second equation you have no z term, so you have to put 0 here, and x term is 2, coefficient of x term is 2, and y is 1. Okay, and then for third equation, for x is 1 and y is 3 and z is minus 3. Okay, now you have to multiply this by x, y, z. Okay, this also must be in a matrix, and that is equal to the constant matrix, which is equal to 2, 5, 2, 5, 14. Okay, now this is actually in the form ax equals b. And now for finding x, you have to find the A inverse and then you have to multiply it with B matrix. So this is A matrix and this is B matrix. Okay, so first you have to find the inverse of A. For that you have to find the determinant of A. So determinant of A is equal to, first of all you have to take the first row. So you have to multiply 1 and you have to write the determinant, because if you are taking this one you have to ignore the first column and then you have to take the 4 elements. So 1, 0, 3, minus 3. Okay, and for the second term you have to take minus, and then again 1 is the second element, and you have to write the determinant. Determinant is like middle column you have to ignore, and you have to take the other 4 elements, 2, 0, 1, minus 3. So 2, 0, 1, minus 3, and then plus the next determinant is you have to ignore the third column, and so you have to take these 4 elements, 2, 1, 1, 3. So the third element is actually 1, so you have to multiply the third determinant by 1. So for 1 times the determinant of this one, so 2, 1, 1, 3. Okay, so when you solve this, you will get 1 times minus 3 is minus 3, minus 0, and then minus 1 times 2 times minus 3 is minus 6, minus 0, and then plus 1 times 2 times 3 is 6, minus 1. Okay, so that is equal to minus 3 minus 0 is actually, so everything is multiplied by 1, so you just have to multiply the things inside the bracket. So this is minus 3, and this one is minus 6, minus and minus will become plus 6, and then plus 1 times 6 minus 1 is 5. Okay, so 1 times minus 3 minus 0, minus 3 minus 0 is minus 3, minus 3 times 1 is minus 3, and this is minus 6 minus times minus 1 is plus 6 plus 5. So this is 11 minus 8, 11 minus 8 is actually 8. So this is actually determinant of A. Now the next step is writing the transpose of A. So A transpose means you have to write all the rows into columns. So 1, 1, 1 is the first row, so you can write this as column 1, 1, 1, and then 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, and then 1, 3, minus 3. Okay, so this is the transpose of matrix. Now you have to rearrange it. Now we can find like A transpose I already found, and then now we can rearrange the new matrix, right? So for finding the A inverse you have to rearrange this. So which is equal to like you have to ignore the first row, and if you are writing the first column, then you have to ignore the first column also. Okay, so when you are writing the first element you have to ignore the first row and first column. So which is you have only these 4 elements, so I can write it as a determinant. So 1, 3, 0, minus 3. Okay, so this is the first element, and the second element is you have to ignore the middle column, and then you have to take these 4 elements. So 1, 3, 1, minus 3. Okay. The next element, you have to ignore the third column. So this will be 1, 1, 1, 0. Okay. So this is the third element. And now for second row, you have to ignore the second row, and you have to take the first row and also second one. And first column will be ignored for the first element. And so 2, 1, 0, minus 3. And for the second element, you have to ignore the middle column. And so you have 1, 1, 1, minus 3. So 1, 1, 1, minus 3. Okay. And for the third element, you have to ignore the third column. And so you have 1, 2, 1, 0. Okay. For the third row, you have to ignore the third column, third row. Okay. So to write the third row, you have to ignore the third row. Okay. So here, first column must be ignored for the first element. So this will be 2, 1, 1, 3. And then middle column will be ignored, and you have 1, 1, 1, 3. And for the last element, you have to ignore the third column. So you have 1, 2, 1, 1. Okay. Now we can simplify these determinants. Okay. So here this is 1 times minus 3 is minus 3, minus 0. And 1 times minus 3 is minus 3. And 1 times 3 is 3. Yeah, minus 3. Okay. So 1 times 0 is 0. And this is minus 1. Okay. And this determinant is actually 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. Minus 0. And then 1 times minus 3 is minus 3. And then minus 1. And here 1 times 0 is 0. Minus 2. And then you are having 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 1. And then 1 times 3 is 3. Minus 1. And 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 2. Okay. So this is how. So 1 times minus 3 is minus 3. Yeah, okay. And then now you can simplify this. Minus 3 minus 0 will be minus 3. And then this is minus 6. And this is minus 1. And here you have minus 6, minus 4, and minus 2. Okay. And this is 5. 3 minus 1 is 2. And 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Now to find A inverse, you have to multiply the rearranged matrix with the 1 over determinant A. Okay, so this one times 1 over determinant A. So determinant A is actually 8. Yeah, so determinant of A is actually 8. So you have to divide each and every element inside the matrix by 8. So that is equal to minus 3 over 8, and then minus 6 over 8, minus 1 over 8, and here minus 6 over 8, minus 4 over 8, and minus 2 over 8, 5 over 8, 2 over 8, and minus 1 over 8. So this could be written as negative answer. So that is equal to minus 0.375. Okay, the answer of minus 3 over 8, and then 0.75, and the next one is minus 0.125, and the next row is 0.75, and minus 0.5. 4 over 8 is actually 0.5, and the next one is 0.25 because 1 over 4, and the third row is 0.625, and minus 0.25 and minus 0.125, because this is 1 over 8. Okay, so this is the answer for A inverse. Now you found A inverse. Okay, so when you are getting this number, you have to multiply with plus minus plus minus plus minus minus plus minus plus. Okay, so when you are multiplying this, you will get this number. So the minus plus with plus will become minus, and minus will become plus here. Minus and plus will be minus, and plus and minus will be minus, and then minus 0.5 times plus is actually minus 0.5 only. So 0.25 with minus will become minus. Okay, and this will become minus, and this is actually 0.75 with minus will become minus. Okay, and so 0.625 times plus will become 0.625, and minus 0.25 with minus will become plus. Yeah, and then this one minus with plus will become minus. Okay, so the A inverse value is this one. So to find the value of x, you have to multiply A inverse by B. So which means like you have to multiply this with the constant term, which is 2, 5 and 14. So this one you have to multiply this by 2, 5, 2, 5 and 14. Okay, so when you multiply these two matrices, the value of x you get is actually okay, so minus 0.375 times 2 plus 0.75 times 5 minus 0.125 times 14, and the next row is 0.75 and then plus minus 0.5 times 5 plus 0.25 times 14, and then and then 0.625 times 2 plus minus 0.25 times 5 plus minus 0.125 times 14. So when you multiply and adding the answers, the value of x you will get as x is equal to, so x is equal to, so when you are multiplying and adding all these things, you will get the value of the x matrix as 1.25, 2.5 and minus 1.75, which is, this is the value of x and this is the value of y and this is the value of z. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and share. Thanks.